This is Indie Business Podcast, episode 74. Hello, and welcome to this episode of the Indie Business Podcast. I'm your host, mentor, and coach, Donna Maria, the founder and CEO at the Indie Business Network and the lead mentor at the Maker Mastermind Business Incubator. My goal is to help you build a solid business foundation, increase your income, and use your business to create the life you love. In this episode, I will introduce you to Kirsten Connor of Flourish Beauty Lab in White River Junction, Vermont. Kirsten owns a retail store, and she's also a product formulator who makes artisan hair care products and products designed for people who are super sensitive to ingredients and fragrances. She sells her products at her Vermont store, online, at her website, and also via wholesale. In this episode, I talk with Kirsten about several aspects of her business, including how she is navigating the many aspects of COVID-19 and what she sees on the horizon for the future of Flourish in particular and entrepreneurship in general. You can get a summary for this episode at indiebusinessnetwork.com/74. I can't wait to introduce you to Kirsten Connor of Flourish Beauty Lab in White River Junction, Vermont. But first, this podcast is brought to you by the 5-day Recurring Revenue Challenge Summit, a virtual event with speakers, hot seat coaching, and powerful live Q&A sessions to help you uncover and leverage the opportunities in your business for recurring revenue, repeat sales, subscriptions, and membership business. Find out more at indiebusinessnetwork.com/summit. And now let's welcome Kirsten Connor of Flourish Beauty Lab in White River Junction, Vermont. Kirsten Connor from Flourish Beauty Lab in Vermont. Welcome to Indie Business Podcast.
Hi, thanks for having me.
So your business, as I just said, is in Vermont, which is such a beautiful part of the country, but I know very little about it. So I'm going to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about exactly where your business is in Vermont and a little bit about your amazing retail store.
Okay, so Vermont is a very small state. It's very beautiful. I'm located centrally, so right in the middle of Vermont, where all of the main roads sort of crisscross. So everybody coming from either New York or Boston or whatever passes through White River Junction. And it's a downtown that has really been revitalized. It's very artsy, tons of restaurants, but it has not always been that way. So,
it's funny because your business is probably one of the ones that has actually made it that way. And when I look on the internet at the pictures of your store, I just want to bring, my yoga mat, and I want to bring a cup of tea, and I want to move in. So I just want to start by asking you to tell us a little bit about how this store opened. Like, what's the store story? And tell us a little bit about it, so if we're ever there, we can come visit.
Yeah, so the retail store was not exactly part of my plan. I had a retail store from about 2002 to about 2008, up until the last recession. And then I was just doing wholesale. But I was in Woodstock, Vermont, which is a tourist town. It's where I live. And I was in basically the basement of a building, is where my production space was. And I just started to feel like it was very important to be able to reach more people because, especially Vermonters and people in the Upper Valley here are really amazing about supporting local. So I wanted to move to a place that was being revitalized. So it took me a long time to find the space because there was no space to rent because it was in the middle of a boom. But I moved in there and expanded the space, and my husband actually is responsible for the design, all of the cherry tables and shelving and the barn door and all of that. But what I did was I brought in a lot of brands that really helped to lift my brand up also. So the whole theme of my store and what I do is it's all products for people that are super sensitive. And so that was pretty much the evolution. I did things like I have a refill bar so that people bring their bottles back to get them
Oh, that's
refilled.
nice.
Yeah, I just came up with lots of different ways to increase traffic in the store.
So when you were deciding to open a store, did you have a website at the time?
I did. Yep. I've always had a website. That's always been, at least 40 or 50% of my overall sales. Yeah.
So when most people were like throwing themselves totally into online, you were also opening a retail store. And it's interesting because what year did the store open?
What year is this? I believe I've been open for
This is 2020, Kirsten.
Oh, no. I'm pretty sure I opened it in 2016.
Okay. All right, good. Okay, I thought it was a little earlier than that. So you have
Maybe
this
15.
amazing space, maybe 15. Okay.
Yeah.
So you have this amazing space where you sell your products. You sell your products online, and you also sell your products wholesale to other stores too, right? So you have 3 separate ways to sell your products, and there are probably more that I don't know about. Like, do you do markets? Do you do other sales avenues?
I have done markets. Trying to think. I think those 3 though are the main sources.
Now, Kristen, when I look at your website and when I see your social media, one of the things that I see when I do see the rare glimpse of a picture of you, which we do see every now and then, you really look like you just are in your element when you're in your store. Like your eyes just light up. So is that a part of, like, if you couldn't have a store, do you think you would still be in business?
I think that I really, really love connecting with people in the store and having that like personal interaction and talking to them about my products or other products that I sell. But I also think that there are other ways of connecting with people also. Like I do the hair care consults for people. And, there's a lot of back and forth that way.
And those are like virtual, like you do those online?
Yep. Either through email, or we also have a live chat on our website as well.
Oh, great. Oh, yeah. Gosh, my goodness, that is so smart. So tell me, like, if I wanted to have a live hair consult with you on your website, would I just click the chat, open it up, and set up a time? How would that work?
Yeah, or you can just directly ask me. A lot of times what happens, I realized this a little bit into the pandemic, that people were coming onto the site and either I couldn't email them back quickly enough and they would have already left the site, or I just felt like being in the moment the way I was with people in the store would be really helpful to completing the whole transaction. Because, once people walk away, they get involved with different things. So if anytime anybody is on the website, they can just send me a message and say, I'm having a hard time choosing whatever for my hair, or I have this hair issue. Do you have something that will help it? And I just answer in real time. And, and they're right there ready to make the purchase.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
So you have something embedded into your website that helps you do that?
Yep. It's called live chat.
Live chat. Okay. And you obviously love it because it helps you to connect with people, and it probably results in a sale when you do that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It notifies you every time there is somebody on your website. And the first
Like on your
day,
phone, it comes to your phone?
yes, either a phone or iPad. And I was absolutely startled the first day to realize how many people were on the site and then clicked off. And, when you're not really conscious of that in real time, how many people are on the site, you may only have an idea of what's happening when the orders come in.
Right.
So if you get 10 orders a day, you might think, 10 people were on and placed orders, when in reality it could have been 50 people on and you just had no idea.
Right, because your reality is your reality. Like, you don't, what do they say? You don't know what you don't know.
Exactly.
But that's wonderful. Before we had all these great little gadgets that we could attach to our websites, I remember I had one guest on who literally people would just text her. They would just text her. She gave out her phone number and would just text her, and she would close the sale, from
I
her
do that
phone.
As well. Yeah. The phone number on there is my cell phone. So, yeah.
That is such a great tip, because I would imagine that a lot of our listeners, again, you don't know what you don't know. And the internet's the internet, and millions of people are coming from everywhere. Like when you walk in a store, you could see them walk by the window, so you might have missed a sale. But on the internet, you never see them.
Right, exactly.
We never see them. So that is so interesting. So Kirsten, tell us a little bit about, we have a little insight into how you started your store, but where did the entrepreneurial bug bite you sometime before that? When did you decide to start a business in the first place?
Well, I think I started out in, I think, about 2003. I was a kindergarten teacher, and I was moving to Vermont with my family, my 3 kids, and my husband at the time. And for whatever reason, after we had sold our house and I was already here, my husband decided he was not moving to Vermont. And so I was really faced with being the only parent to my 3 kids, and my experience was with teaching kindergarten, and I just didn't feel like I had, that I would have enough energy in that direction. So I really wanted to do something creative, and I taught myself to make soap, and I opened a store in Woodstock, which is a very lovely and touristy town. And I pretty quickly realized that I wasn't going to be able to pay the rent with just selling bars of soap. So I taught myself to make a variety of other things. And it was really when I figured out how to make shampoo that it really propelled my business forward. So I think in 2008, when the recession started, I went completely to just wholesale. And I got into Whole Foods and all the co-ops in New England. But then we had a little setback when we lost our house and business in the flood in 2011. So I had to rebuild everything from scratch. And, it really taught me a lot. I think prior to that, I was just kind of winging it. And in about 2013 or 14, I really had to get serious because there were just so many things I didn't know or understand about business. And I really wound up just rebranding and focusing a lot more on hair care. And I expanded that to include styling products and really just focusing on people that are super sensitive to ingredients or scents.
Wow, yeah, I can definitely see the shampoo and the hair care focus there. But take us back to, this is such an interesting story. Now, a lot of our listeners and a lot of entrepreneurs find themselves in a situation where they're moms, and they find themselves without a partner for one reason or another, and they're trying to start a business or trying to take their lives to the next level. What sorts of things did you learn about yourself, and what can you share with some of our listeners who might be going through a similar situation to you? A single mom to 3 children is all of a sudden, too. It sounds like it wasn't like, I have a whole lot of warning there, honey, I'm just not moving with you. How can you encourage others who might have, feel similarly unsupported in their businesses?
Yeah, I think I did feel supported because I had extended family here. I also had my kids were in a school where there was also a lot of support. A lot of the other parents really helped me out with carpooling and aftercare and all sorts of things like that. So I definitely feel like I had a great deal of support. There were definitely...
So you definitely asked for help. Got help, because a lot of people struggle with that. So that's a really good tip for us to remember.
Yeah, I don't know if I am not going to classify myself as somebody who is good at asking for help, but I was pretty desperate, and my mom and my brothers really stepped up to help, and neighbors and things like that. Just,
That's great.
Yeah. Yeah. So I was very, very lucky. I didn't feel isolated at all. I really felt like I had a support system.
That's great. That's wonderful to make sure that you find that support wherever you can. So, so you started, and then you realized that you had all these great products. And so why shampoo? Why hair care?
Well, I think what happened with me is, a couple of different things. Basically was everything that I had in my store at the time in the beginning. Everything that I used was something that I made myself. All of the soap, the lotion, all of the facial care, everything was things that I made myself. And so it felt a little hypocritical to be buying shampoo at the co-op. But when it did. And when I tried to make shampoo out of soap, because at the time I felt like soap was just the purest of pure things, and that was my standard, it really wrecked my hair. So try as I might, I could not use soap or liquid soap in my hair because of the pH, and all of the glycerin and excess oil just coated my hair. And so I just felt really determined to figure it out. And I started out with a recipe that used cocoa betaine. And after a little while, I started reacting to it really badly, and so did my husband.
What exactly is cocoa betaine for people who don't know?
So it's a cleanser that's classified as a green or eco alternative, when it's sold by the chemical companies, and it's really easy to work with. It thickens very easily, and it pairs well with other cleansers. But it was named Allergen of the Year in 2014.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, and so it's very it's in tons of body wash and shampoos that are classified as natural, green, or however you want to classify. And so that has actually been a really good thing for my business, because so many times people are very confused about why they're using a clean product, but they're still having reactions. So I talk about that quite a bit in my, in blog posts and on my website, how tricky it is.
Yeah, you're touching upon something that's so interesting and so important. I think I kind of want to dive a little deeper into that. And that is not just selling products, but educating people and helping them understand, it's not just a hair care product. It's not just a nail polish or whatever it is, but there's an educational component that also feeds beautifully into the sale of the product, which allows you to distinguish yourself from others, right?
Right. Yep. Exactly.
So you said you had a blog. How has that helped to enhance your ability to educate your customers in ways that lead to sales?
Well, I think our most popular blog post on the website is your hair really dry or is it dull? Because that's another question that I get all the time. People feel, well, let me start off by saying this. Most natural shampoos don't have a chelate in them that removes all the hard water minerals in your water. And so it is deposited on your hair. In conventional shampoos, it's sodium EDTA that will just give you a cleaner feel to your hair. And so lots of people that are using natural shampoo have, buildup on their hair, and it winds up making what they think is dry hair, but it actually has this coating on it that needs to be removed. So that's one of our most popular blog posts.
That's such an interesting, it's amazing to me. Like, I never would have thought that, I know about hard water and all the things, but there's so people will Google, like, why is my hair dull and dry? And they stumble across your blog post.
Yes.
So that is a great, simple, but wonderful marketing story, because there's not a brand in the universe that can't do that.
Right. Yep. It really just is. I didn't understand this for years when I used to listen to you talk about like finding, drilling down, finding your niche and all of that. I just felt like, but I just make shampoo. I don't really understand what sets me apart. But when I started to realize, when I started to realize it, now I'm like 100% certain of the things that set us apart and what people are looking for.
Yeah, and I love that you said that, because it's such a journey. Like, it's not like one day this light bulb comes on and suddenly exactly, with 100% beautiful certainty exactly what your niche is. It's more like pounding the pavement over and over again, and you slowly narrow it down and until your customers respond in a particular way.
Right.
It's actually, and your colors. Yeah, go ahead.
I was just going to say, it's really funny because when I started out doing this, when people used to say something to me like, well, what sets you apart? Like, why are people going to buy your products? I was completely, I didn't know what to say. And so I said something like, oh, because it's made in Vermont. Like, who is going to look on the internet for shampoo made in Vermont? But that's how much
popular Google search, right? I like shampoo that comes from Vermont. Although, there is this thing about Vermont, like their made in Vermont sort of thing I don't know if it still is, but so you have that. I mean, that's just a cherry on your whipped cream, right? Because you have so much else. So being in Vermont just pushes everyone over the edge. But so tell us a little bit about your website, which is gorgeous. What is it built on?
It's a WordPress website, a WooCommerce.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how do you like working with WordPress?
So let me be honest. I am not a techie person whatsoever. I have this great person that I work with. He's a small business consultant and an accountant, and he builds websites. And he and I started working together about 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 years ago. And so he does all the technical everything to it that I ask him to do.
Well, that's handy.
Yeah, very.
That's super handy. But you have the vision, and you find that WordPress satisfies your desire for what you want your website to be able to do so far, anyway.
Yeah, I mean, so far it does. I know that lots of people are really into Shopify.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I am happy with my website so far, and the
Mm-hmm.
things that I have been able to add to it, like the live chat feature. We, you know, we actually, because I feel very strongly, having seen my online sales quadruple in the last couple of months, I feel like we're definitely headed for, more robust online sales. And so I have quite a few things planned, to boost the website further.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so let's unpack that little nugget that you just threw into the
Yes.
conversation there.
Yeah.
In the last 2 months, your sales have quadrupled.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're going to get out our pens and our papers and we're going to write down the formula for that. No, I'm just kidding. Tell us a little bit about that. Like, what do you attribute that to?
I think that a lot of my local store customers went to ordering online and they can do curbside pickup. But aside from that, I think that more people were at home just looking online for, they had more time and they were just searching more. The other thing is we also offer
They were
hand
reading your blog,
sanitizer.
Kirsten. They
Yeah.
were reading your blog.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that's true. If you think about,
Mm-hmm.
being at home more and anything that pops into your head, you had the time to just kind of search for it. And so I think that seems to be
Right.
what's happening.
Right.
I do
Right.
also think the live chat feature was
Mm-hmm.
super helpful for me to close more sales and
Mm-hmm.
just grab more people into the loop.
Yeah, yeah. We've had a lot of, and I'm not just the Indie Business Network here, but all over the world, and people that I talk to in different industries who have an online business have said that, because of, what we're dealing with the pandemic right now, their sales have, tripled and quadrupled.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's funny too, because it became immediately clear to many people that this was a very dire situation, obviously, that we're in, but it makes possible some things that weren't otherwise possible before. And quadruple sales might be one of them. And you also have curbside pickup, as you said,
Mm-hmm.
at your business. How have your retail store buyers, how have those sales numbers been affected by what we're dealing with right now?
Yeah, it's decreased really significantly. Like I said, a lot of my customers order online and then they will just come and pick up. But that
Mm-hmm.
means that a lot of people aren't coming into the store and browsing for other things that might have caught their eye in the past.
Right.
So I think that's just a reality of it's just the times that we're in.
Right. And I don't think, really, honestly, I don't think it's going to change that much. I think people are being so changed and transformed by what we're going through right now. I mean, for example, are you using technology to reach your customers in addition to live chat in ways that you weren't doing before the pandemic?
Well, live chat has been the main way. I think that I've really been happy with Zoom because it feels very personal as opposed to just emailing back and forth. I think that Zoom is a great option.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, we're using it right now, too.
Yeah.
It's super convenient and everybody has access to it and so forth. So you've been in business for a really long time and you've had a couple of different iterations of your business. What are some of the real nuggets of wisdom that you think you've acquired over the years that could help someone who's starting out now, especially in the middle of what we're dealing with? Lots of people are starting businesses in part because, they're seeing that the traditional job market is perhaps as good as it is, it's not always all it's cracked up to be.
Right.
What words of advice and wisdom can you offer some of them?
I think the biggest lesson that I had to learn was about paring down my product line. I think that's a really big issue that, I definitely had, and I have seen other people have that issue also. But I
You
think
can't just make everything?
Oh my
You
gosh.
can make it, right? But you can't sell it.
That's right. Because when I first launched wholesale, I had 60 SKUs. And the buyers at the shows would stand there and they would go cross-eyed from,
Right.
the amount. Yeah, it's too much.
It's overwhelming. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's something I'm even learning right now. We're letting a lot of our body care just completely go. We're just, I don't sell as much of it online as I do in the store. And so I'm eliminating a lot of it, probably like 3/4 of it.
And that's an interesting point too, because are you saying that the products that you sell online are not necessarily the same ones that are in the store and vice versa because of the sales trends?
Yeah, I think that, but definitely like hair care is our big thing. It really set us apart, even though I started out as a soap maker and, I made body care. That was how I started.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
I do sell a good amount of body care, but it is mostly people trying it in the store. It's like not an impulse buy, but, I just don't know how you would search online for a lotion and know that you're going to like the texture and buy it that way. I feel like it's more of when people try it in the store, they purchase it.
Mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm.
I think that people have, when it comes to hair care, there are specific things that they're looking for, like specific to their hair type, as opposed to just a nice smelling lotion.
Well, let me ask you this about that. It does, because my next question, actually it feeds my next question, was about the explosion in hair care products online. And, it's not new anymore, but there was a time when, there wasn't a lot of hair care products that you could buy that addressed every single hair type, every single type of curl, every single type of kink. I mean, like there's levels. I saw a Instagram picture the other day of someone who is in the hair care business, and it was a picture of like 12 different hair care types, and there were types within the types.
Right.
It's so amazing. So, like, what do you think of this? And it's interesting, as you just said, that you feel that it's easier to buy a shampoo online than some of the other body care products, and so maybe that's a part of the reason why they're so successful on the internet.
Yeah, I think that it has become super specific. When I was a little kid, you just picked up your shampoo in the grocery store or drugstore, whatever it was. I feel like there were maybe like 10 brands altogether, and you just really had to make do with what was there. Now that I look back on it, it feels really similar to walking through like the laundry detergent aisle, but there just were not a lot of options, and anybody who had issues with their hair, they like scalp issues, for example, they would just be told to buy dandruff shampoo, when a lot of the scalp issues that people have is a reaction to the detergents in the shampoo. But that wasn't really looked at or understood. I think we've just come a long way with being super specific about different hair issues and hair types.
It's interesting how you phrased that too. You said back then there weren't a lot of options. You said it was kind of like cleaning products now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I'm seeing cleaning products doing what hair care products did over the
Yep.
past 10 years. And it's all because the entrepreneurial types and the artisan type like you and others have created these niches or have leveraged the ones that were already there, but no one was paying attention to them, and being able to talk with them, through a live chat or connect with them on a Zoom. And do you feel like that is as much of a competitive advantage as I do against a lot of the other larger companies that have much more marketing power and they can be on the side of buses and stuff? They can't reach that level of personal care and person to person support that a smaller brand can.
Right. That I definitely feel that way. I know that a lot of my customers really need that personal interaction.
Right. They need a guide. They want someone to hold their hand and lead them to the right choice.
Right. Exactly.
And when they trust you, like they can catch your blog post, which they can read at their leisure, right? Mm-hmm. They can go on the live chat if they want to talk now. They can browse Instagram if they're somewhere in between, right? Because they can maybe DM you or leave a comment. So, and they can get some sort of a personal response.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's very important.
I just love how my members do that. It's so inspiring to see. And every time I see a large brand, sorry, large brands, but every time I see a large brand saying, we give the personal touch or we're artisan, I just kind of laugh. And my whole family hears me laugh. I'm like, look at that. That is so not true. Like they're just trying to mimic what they're seeing, the people that are really doing that. So I just kind of laugh about that. But so as you have, pioneered your business and moved your brand, like tell us a little bit about the Flourish name. Like how did you choose that name? Was that like some people, like I hear these great stories, like some people are like, it was an accident, and I hear other people going, I thought about it for 100 years and I finally chose the right name.
I don't really know. It was just...
It's a new one, though. That's a new one.
A new one?
I don't know.
I don't. I had lists going. I talked about it with my husband, and I just felt like, Flourish was a great, I just liked the meaning behind it.
And it's a beauty lab, too. It's not like Flourish Beauty Products. It's Beauty Lab. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, yeah. So it started, the name originally actually was Flourish Natural Body Care because I was doing all body care. And then when I opened the store, I switched it to Flourish Beauty Lab because we have in the back of our storefront, there's a common area and I have glass there so people can see everything being made. It is like a lab in the back of my retail space. Yeah. So
you have like a destination location then.
Yeah. Yep.
So I bet people in your community, like they talk about the store, not just because of the great hair care products, but because you can go and like you can actually watch her making the stuff in the back.
Yeah. People have been, pretty intrigued. Yeah.
Yes, that is so much fun. And these colors that you have on these bottles, like I'm looking at the website now, the green and the blue, like they're absolutely stunning and very eye-catching. And they make a beautiful presentation on a shelf.
Well, thank you. Yeah. I love color. It just makes me really happy. And I wanted to just have something that popped rather than, I feel like, the trend of all dark glass and all of that is just, it's very quiet and very, it's just not very lively to me.
Right, right. Your hair should not be quiet, right? Your hair should not be quiet, right?
Right, lively.
So how many people do you have to support you in your business? Like, do you have employees in the store? Do you have people that help you make your products? How does that work in the behind the scenes?
So I have, right now it's really just me. I have one of my employees that comes in once every other week to help me with production. I have had 5 employees when the store was open and we were really busy. And I'm hoping that we're going to ramp things up to that again. And then I have Matt, who does my website. I have accountants, and I have who else?
So you pared things back a little bit because of the pandemic in the store, obviously.
Yes,
But everything
absolutely.
else is pretty much the same.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So in your particular community, what is the situation now with the retail stores? Are they on track to do anything different in the coming months that you know of? And I know it's a very fluid situation, but like, what's your plan right now? How are you running the store now?
So the way I'm running it right now is I have reduced hours. I'm there basically from 8 until 4, but I do open hours and curbside pickup from 10 to 3, Monday through Friday. I'm not open on the weekends currently because the summertime is very slow for me anyway. People just want to be outside, either kayaking or hiking. Nobody really...
Right.
Saturdays,
it is Vermont.
Right, exactly. Saturdays were not really big in the summer anyway. And so I've pared back my hours. I have pared back my employees' hours. And I am not really positive how things are going to going forward. Vermont right now is very, very, very busy. On the weekends, everybody is escaping to Vermont because of how low our numbers are. So it is very busy, and typically in the fall, we would have leaf season where we would just be jam-packed and, selling like crazy. But I just don't see that happening in the way that it has in the past.
I bet you see it happening online, though. I mean, the predictions now for online sales this year are astronomical. They are just, right. I've seen some of those statistics. So one of the things that you have discovered in this sort of, I guess we'll call it a semi-quiet period for your retail store, is that you've had additional time and bandwidth to be creative in terms of your product line. So you've got some new things coming up here soon as a result of that. So you've really managed to take aspects of the pandemic and work them to your advantage, obviously your sales numbers, but other ways too, right?
Yes, absolutely. My absolute favorite thing is to create new products, and I have not had an opportunity to do that, balancing the store and online and employees and all of that. And so I've been able over the last couple of months to take some time and get creative, and we're going to launch some new products in August and September, things that my customers have been asking for a long time. So I'm super excited. Yeah.
Do we get a little scoop here of what might be coming?
Well, I'm going to do a volumizing mousse.
A mousse. Okay.
Yep, a volumizing mousse, a hairspray, a cleansing foam to replace dry shampoo. And I'm also going to do a new body oil that will replace all of our lotions. And I am also going to launch a sensory series of limited edition scented body oils.
A sensory series. Wow.
Yes.
It's just, what's fascinating to me is the one that you talked about that's going to replace dry shampoo. You called it not a mousse, the other one.
Yep, it's a cleansing mousse.
So is that like something you put in your hair and it cleanses and you don't have to wash it out? You
right.
Just shake it out or kind of?
Well, you rub it in, and just depending on your hair texture, you can either shake it or you might have to blow dry a little bit. But it's going to replace dry shampoo, because for a lot of people that have sensitive scalp, Dry shampoo just makes like a glue, like a paste on their scalp, and it's just not not helpful. Yeah.
We don't want so much to talk about when it comes to hair. Like, who knew? Like, I chopped all mine off, so like I can buy all the hair care products, and my hair's so short they last me forever.
All right.
People with long hair always complain, like, the bottle's not big enough. I'm like, oh, I'll give you mine. I'll give you half of mine. It'll last the rest of my life.
Right.
This has been such a fun conversation. And,
yeah, it has been.
I just love your energy and your, what I really see over the years, because I've known you for a long time, is from a distance, of course, I don't know you, but I'm very present in the lives of my members in terms of what everybody's doing. And I just love seeing the evolution that I've witnessed over the years. And it's been, and I just even remember thinking, wow, there's a lot more shampoo there than there used to be.
Right.
And so you have really found, tell me a little bit about how that makes you feel as an entrepreneur, that you're not just selling products, like you have found a way to actually help people transform their lives through the things that you offer them.
Yeah. I feel really honored, that people ask me and trust me to ask the questions that they do. Yeah. It just makes me feel really good that I'm able to help people with the things that I do.
Yeah. So when you find that integration between what you love to do and what people need, you have such a beautiful flow, I guess is a good way to say it, in your life, when your work flows with your life in a way that almost makes them indivisible.
Right. Yep.
So if you could tell us a little bit as we close out, Kirsten, just what sorts of words of wisdom do you have to offer to people who are excited about business and they just don't see how they can get to where you are with that feeling that you just described? There's no path. We all know there's not necessarily, we're all on a different path. Like, there's no, we can't drop a bunch of, ABC 1, 2, 3. So what could you tell them to help them understand that they can do it? And what sort of mindset would you say we all need to be able to envision, the future and be able to create something amazing like you have?
I think it has a lot to do with just your personality, how determined you are to figure things out and to understand the things that you don't understand. Because I think that a lot of people start from a very similar spot of, they make something that inspires them and they want to share it. But I think that you have to be open to constantly learning and figure out what your differentiating factor is, and just keep pursuing that.
Constantly learning.
Yeah.
Embracing a differentiating factor and keep pursuing.
Right. And the other thing I think is finding people around you that are good at the things that you're not good at, that can support you in that way. Support is very, very important.
Yes, we talked about that a little bit too. Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody is good at everything.
Right. And you mentioned support personally, and you're also talking about support from a business perspective, because we definitely need both.
Right.
Yeah. Well, and especially, back then when you had young children, like, oh my gosh, how much support do parents need?
Right. And then I got remarried to someone who also has 3 children. And so we have 6 altogether.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. So it's
we didn't have time to talk about that. Well, before we go, then I have to ask, do any of the children, or do they have an interest in Flourish Beauty Lab in terms of helping out or working there at all? Is that
definitely not, because my husband and I are both self-employed, and I don't think that any of our children will ever be. They love Flourish, but no.
Yeah, that's an interesting statement because I'm self-employed and I had this idea as my children grew up that they would be intrigued by the self-employment idea and they'd want to be entrepreneurs, and maybe I drove them away from it because that's all I ever talk about because they're
Right.
just not interested. And we actually had a conversation with them the other day about the way the world is going. And I'm like, you kind of need to be interested in at least a side hustle, right? Because, things are, we don't have the kind of world that I grew up in where, I could put a resume out and 7 days later I'd have 25 interviews and a
Right.
week later I'd have a job. Like, it's
Right.
just not
It's
that
not
way
that
anymore.
way.
No,
Yeah.
it's not. Well, thank you so much for sharing with us, Kirsten Connor from Flourish Beauty Lab in Vermont. Like, this is a place we all, I don't know about you, but I definitely want to go and try everything. Like, you have those little baskets by the door. I always get nervous when I walk into a retail store and see the baskets by the door because I am the person who would be filling up the basket. Like, let's just take my credit card over to the counter and just,
Oh my gosh.
just leave it there. I'm that kind of customer because I love the stuff. So,
All right.
and I know I'm like the perfect customer, but I know that, when things open up, I know you had that before. I know you'll have it again. And how amazing to see that you have used this time to enhance another side of your business. And to create, to use technology and use the internet to quadruple your sales online. And so now when everything opens back up, you'll just be stronger on both fronts. And I just think that is an amazingly empowering and inspiring story of, turning lemonade, taking lemons and turning them into lemonade.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for you.
Well,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and we look forward to coming up to Vermont one day and checking out your store. And in the meantime, we'll just go read your blog posts about hair and get the perfect hair care products on your website and talk to you on your live chat.
Sounds great.
Thanks so much, Kirsten. You have a great day. Come back and see us again.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Well, I hope this episode of the Indie Business Podcast left you inspired, motivated, and excited about the future of your small business. Let's quickly review 3 of the most significant business insights Kirsten and I discussed today. First of all, the personal touch closes the sale. Kirsten's business is high touch because, she says, being personally connected to her customers is important to her. This manifests itself physically at her retail store, but also virtually by her use of the live chat option she discussed at her website. The more personal and immediate your response to your prospects, the more likely you are to close the sale. And second, blog posts drive traffic. Kirsten shared that many people find her products because of her blog. For example, she blogs about the everyday hair care problems people have, and when they search those types of topics online, some of them will land at Kirsten's site where they will get her answers to their questions about their hair at the same time as they have opportunities to buy her products that will solve all their problems. This is such a great example of blogging for business in action. And number 3, the importance of streamlining. This is so significant. Kirsten said that one of the things she advises generally for all makers is to maintain a streamlined product line. She recalled for us a time when she had like 60 products in her line. Way too many options, she said, for any potential buyer to take in without being overwhelmed. She shared specific strategies she's using to make sure she is focused mainly on hair care and not swamping her customers with just too many options. Well, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to share it with someone you know and help spread the word. This podcast is all about the revolution, the indie business revolution, where people are breaking the mold of traditional entrepreneurship and creating success on their own terms. And if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, won't you do me the honor of rating this podcast? It helps me so much to know that you appreciate the amazing people and stories featured here on the Indie Business Podcast. You can also share episodes from indiebusinessnetwork.com to your favorite social media outlets. I will see you on the next episode of the Indie Business Podcast. In the meantime, enjoy your life, build your business, and have your way.